Hello guys, it's Carlos EDC back with another review. Today we're reviewing the CT0850. It's the blue carbon fiber version. The 0850CF is the blacked out version. This is a made in America knife, carbon fiber, subframe, 20CV, designed by Rexford and Sinkevich. Proudly. You can almost see it on the blade right there. 8.7 inches overall, 3.75 inches in blade length. Each square is half an inch. It is 4.3 ounces. It's got some aluminum hardware like the thumb stud and the back spacer, and it's a aluminum that's been like turn milled, which is pretty cool. And it's a pretty unique combinations. Let's get some size comparisons. This is the CVV Anthropos. Cheaper carbon fiber, cheaper steel made in China, but still a very nice EDC option. Something a lot of people are gonna carry sooner or later. The Martelli 3 lightweight. I think this is a very recommendable knife for anybody to carry. It's on the smaller size. Another size comparison of a really cool knife, the Jake Beck Hoback. It's kind of around the same size, and yeah, the Sprint. So yeah, it's a big knife. It's easy to carry though, at least for me as a construction worker in Arizona. Let's get to it, guys. Let's talk about the good things about this knife. The point. It's not super pointy like the Sprint would be, but it's not like too ship's footy. I don't have a ship's foot blade with me right now, but it works very well for all kinds of tasks. It looks like a continuous curve, but because the knife is so big, it's got some flat to it. You can see that right here. See, it's got some flat, so you can do cutting board style cuts. Some of you guys didn't like what I just did. I don't care. Satin blade finish, but these lines you see here are very nice, very tactily pleasing, and then stonewash up here, stonewash flats, very nice. The thumb stud is aluminum and it's gigantic, so it's easy to find. You don't need to worry about looking for it when you pull it out of your pocket and you're working on something. You just deploy this knife super easy, very smooth, very fast. The thumb stud is in aluminum. It's huge. It's got some jimping, which allows you to grab the knife this way. I had some really long boxes at work recently, wood flooring, and so the boxes were 4 or 5 feet long. I can't remember. And carrying a longer knife and the ability to control it very well with a lot of jimping back here was really nice. The other thing about this curve up here is when you're cutting into apples and you put your finger back here, you have a lot of control over it. And so if you have an apple in your hand, imagine I have an apple here, and you cut a straight line into it, and then one straight line next to it to make a wedge. It works very good. I've done a few apples with this knife, and the thickness on this knife is actually 0.346 centimeters, which is thick, and yeah, you end up wedging some of the apples, but super cool. Blade shape looks cool, and it's very functional. The jimping back here is very good jimping, very functional, big, exactly where it needs to be. You can sharpen pencils and do any other cuts this way that you might need to do in your daily life. The carbon fiber on this knife is really nice. It's blue. It's pretty original. The ergos on this knife are really good. A lot of people are saying the ergos on the Para 3 lightweight are great. The Para 3 is ergonomic, but this thing just in my large to medium hands, it fits great. There's no hot spots anywhere, and all the curvatures in this little knife, well, big knife, allows it to not feel slippery. Because you do have all these carbon fiber is kind of smooth, but all the curves make this knife really stay in your hand, and you can just grab it, the thumb stud up here, and do this, and it just won't come out, whatever it is that you're doing. And also down here, the sub frame lock, it's kind of like a regular titanium frame lock, and it's got an over travel stop made out of carbon fiber, which is pretty cool and original. The lockup is okay. The clip on this knife is the most milled out clip I've seen made out of titanium. As you guys can see, the chunk of titanium was originally pretty big, and they milled out a bunch of it, which makes it very springy, very nice, and the smooth carbon fiber makes this slide into your pocket very well. But the retention of it is strong enough that I have no problems keeping this thing in my pockets as I'm climbing up in attics and doing my thing at work. I'm a construction worker in Arizona. No lock stick. Unlocking this knife is very nice, and the action is just extremely nice. I have a hard time believing it's in washers, even though I did take it apart myself, cleaned it up and lubed it, and the fall shutty action on it is so good that it actually, you see that cut on my finger? Yeah, that's from this knife closing. I am the third owner of this knife, and that's the factory edge. That's how hardcore this 20 CV is. I also have 20 CV in the J-back Hoback. I was cutting copper wire with this, no problem. No chips, no bends on this edge. 20 CV is a great steel. I'm very much a fan of it. It's smooth, super smooth deploying the knife. You can do it slow, you can do it fast, and it's super easy to find a thumb stud because it's freaking gigantic. The other plus on this thing is you can Emerson open this knife. Yes, you can just drag it. I'll show you guys a video because I don't think I can explain it on this one. Anywho, the pocket clip is great, and the fit and finish on this knife is amazing. Just the curvature they have on the carbon fiber, every single screw is done very well. The pivot, it looks custom, but it's not. It's just the regular Torx. Just every little gap on this thing is just perfectly done. Like the line you see guys here, it's just very beautiful. All the milled right there on the frame lock. Some little letters here that are not too obnoxious. The milled out clip. Just everything on this knife is done very well. And now for the negatives. I wish I had a deep pocket carry. I have this knife which is super deep, like you can almost not even see it in your pocket. I have the Sprint, which is also that way. I used to not care much about it, but having knives that allow you to do that often makes me a deep pocket clip enthusiast. The fit and finish on it is great, but all the hardware is like super mismatchy. Like the screws are black. The titanium here matches with this, but it doesn't match with anything else. The pivot doesn't match with anything else either. It's just a very mismatchy knife. The 0850 CF is blacked out, but when I went to look at it at the Pinchetta pen and knife, it wasn't as smooth as this one. Like not even close. Not even close. I think some of the black finish on the flats is also in the pivot. That's what makes it like a sandy feeling to it, which I didn't like. But so yeah, if I recommend one and you like smooth actions, which you should because it's super satisfying even when they cut your nail, I recommend this one over the other one, unless you want to take it apart and, I don't know, buff out the black flats. Anywho, super cool knife. And another negative is the thumb stud placement. Super easy to find. You can Emerson open it, but it takes away from how much this knife can slice. Because if you want to slice through something and do it all the way down here, you can't, because well, the handle stops you and the thumb stud stops you all the way up here. So you end up with half an inch of this knife just not be functional for that purpose. Placing it down here so you can see the half inch on the cube, which is okay because you got 3.75 inches, which for me as an Arizonian is not a big problem. But this thing doesn't have that problem, and you have 3.5 inches all the time, and it's lighter weight. So yeah, thumb stud placement. A lot of guys are complaining about, oh, they can't put their thumb up here. Look, those guys are probably not using their knives, because this thing is obviously for an index thing. Back up here and down here works freaking great for everything I do on an everyday basis. Used this knife for a long time, actually a couple weeks, but every day as a construction worker I'm using my knife, a bunch of times. Anywho, the other thing, the blade thickness on this knife is super thick, and it makes sense on the Jake Hoback knife, which is even thicker. But this Jake Hoback is 2 pieces of freaking huge titanium. so it makes sense. A blade this thick and one side is just carbon fiber, you know, which works great. I'm sure it works great. It doesn't make sense though. Like, that's super thick, but it's on carbon fiber, not, you know, titanium. Like, it's a hardcore knife, sure, but I think you guys could have used, CT could have used a thinner stock, make this lighter and make this slicer. It cuts well. It cuts amazing. 20 CV blade sharp. It cuts super nice. But I would have preferred something like on the Civivi, just a little bit thinner, guys. You know, it's carbon fiber. It's a nice knife. It mess up pretty $400. It sells for $250. It's a nice knife. Nobody is opening, you know, cars like a can of tuna with this knife. So just make it a little bit thinner. Just not, you know, still be CT, still be hardcore, still be tactical. Just, you know, make it a little bit more usable for EDC. Anywho, I usually don't mention those things, but on this knife, it just kind of seems like it needs it. We'll continue with the review. Yeah, the mismatchiness, you know, the thumb stub taking away 1/2 inch of your blade. This particular one doesn't lock up all the way. It's just like 10% in there. It looks like more on the video for some reason. I've asked other people and they say that it closes to 50, which is cool. Super centered. It's just a nice knife. You know, it's well balanced. It's a good EDC knife. I just wish it was thinner and maybe I don't know, that stud. You know, the placement is weird. It's also kind of ugly. But I don't know, in the positives, like I said, it's a very functional knife, EDC carryable, 4.3 ounces makes it, you know, okay in the pocket, but, you know, I wish it has deep pocket carry. I don't know, that's all I can come up with in the natives. But anywho, do I recommend this knife? A $250 knife, there's so many, $250, there's so many knives out there that are probably better than this CT. I saw a bunch of them at Pinchetta Pen and Knife store. And do I recommend it? Yeah, if you like the aesthetics of this knife, I recommend it. It's super functional, it's super nice, it's done incredibly well. The fit and finish is on it are ridiculous. 20 CV blade is insane. Carbon fiber is super nice. It's so smooth it cuts into your finger. It's like washer smooth, guys. It's like it's you know, J. Kobex is on washers, and it's as smooth as J. Kobex knife on washers. This one's a little not smooth right now because it's full of chicken grease. I took it to work, we ate chicken, and we didn't have a knife, so we used the $600 J. Kobex knife to, you know, cut into chicken. Because that's how I am. That's how I do. I like using my knife. But it's a cool knife. I'm going to keep it for a while, unless somebody wants to trade it for something cool that I can review. Then I'll do that. Do I recommend it? If you love it, if you love what you see here and you're thinking, is it as good, is it functional, it is as good as a $250 knife. It is as good as some $300 knives I saw. It is better than some I saw. And it is on washers. That's the other positive I forgot to mention. It's on washers. And my profession, there's a lot of dust all the time, and I don't have to worry about that with this knife because it's on washers. So yeah, do I recommend this knife? Yeah, if you like it, if this design interests you. But am I gonna keep it? Yeah, I'm gonna keep it for a while in the collection, unless somebody wants to trade me for something really interesting, and then I'll get that really interesting piece in for review. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Use my hashtag today's pocket tools. Like my boy here, Southern Blades with the CRKT LCK, pretty cool knife on the budget end. He doesn't have to buy anything or carry anything on the budget end. He has all kinds of high-end knives that are super cool. He's actually the guy I traded with for this CT. And also AM Sharp, again, with an amazing carry, amazing pen, amazing fixed blade. Again with the blue bug out, which is just such a cool knife. But yeah, guys, make sure to hashtag today's pocket tools for shout out. And yeah, can't wait to make the next video for you guys.